Hi everyone.
Hello，大家好。
Great. So we're gonna pick up again in chapter 2. I know that we
Yes.
read these pages, but it's good to sort of like just understand what's happening, okay? Because in the previous chapter it was basically two people, right?
Yes,
It
the first
yeah.
chapter 1, Prince and Anna.
But now we get a
Oh.
bunch of more people showing up. So
Yes.
so it's good to sort of like keep track of these people, you know. We don't know how important they will be, but at least I think it's kind of good to just keep count of them. So we got a new couple of new people coming in. One of them is
Beautiful Helen.
yes, that's
the
a daughter.
daughter.
Yeah, daughter Prince Vasily's daughter.
Yeah.
And then we also have Princess Bogoskaya, right?
Yeah, Princess. It's Princess. It's Prince Aboskar's wife.
Bolkonsky.
Bolkonsky's
yes,
wife.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. And then let's go. And we know that she's married and
Pregnant.
pregnant. Correct. And then she does, and then we also know we met the son also. So both came, the son and daughter, Prince Vasilis.
Princess' son.
Hippolyte came with his friend called Montemart.
Yeah, Hippolyte and Montemart.
Right, and then that's probably his friend. And then also the Abbe Morio, which is one of Anna's friend. I guess somebody she knows who is religious, right? She mentioned him before.
Where?
Abbe Morio.
This one?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, we don't know too much about him. And then we just met the aunt, which nobody likes to talk about, so we can skip this one. So
Nobody wants to talk about.
yeah, nobody wants to talk
But
to her.
they have to greet him.
But it's interesting. What I'm interested here is actually what I'm interested in here is how Anna. Well, two things. How Anna uses her aunt. Maybe uses is not a good word. But we don't understand like
why Anna want everybody to greet.
We don't know that.
Yes.
But for sure we sort of get an understanding maybe at least if she didn't do that. If Anna did not do this, what would happen? Nobody would talk to this aunt.
Oh.
For sure, right?
Yes.
Because it's not like anybody knows her. So you can think of Anna a couple ways, right? So maybe she's trying to help her aunt. But maybe. I think another one that's very interesting to me is that what is she looking for, right? So she's looking at people too. So when she brings people, so every visitor that comes in, she brings to the aunt.
Yeah.
And then what's she doing after she brings to the aunt?
She look at the people and look at her aunts.
Yeah.
And
well, we know what her aunt does because her aunt does everything the same.
Same thing.
To everyone. She does the same thing to everyone. So she's actually doesn't care so much about her aunt, I think, in this case.
Oh.
So she's actually observing her guests. She's like she's observing whether the guests, how they treat her aunt. Kind of.
Maybe.
Yeah, because
silent approval. Right?
Well, it could be a silent approval, but she maybe, why is she staying there to look at it? Because she probably knows her aunt, nobody wants to talk to her aunt, and just want to see how people treat her aunt, I think.
It's a good guys.
Yeah. Okay, let's go next one.
Let's continue.
Right. The young princess, Bokoskaya, had brought some work in a gold-embroidered velvet bag. So, so we can just stop here. Okay. So she brought some work. It doesn't matter. It's what kind of, let's guess, what kind of work is it?
In her bag.
Yeah, what kind of work is it?
In her bag?
Yeah, what kind of work can you bring in your bag?
They bring work to the
What kind of work?
I don't know.
Probably sewing, right? Sewing work, probably.
Sewing. Oh,
maybe she's making some socks for her son or whatever.
Oh,
it could be.
She's pregnant.
Right. Or son or daughter, I don't know.
So this gold
is just a type of, like, it just says it has gold threading on it.
Threading, so
velvet bag is just a type of cloth. Not very important to remember those things. Her pretty little upper lip. So this is actually kind of interesting. So her pretty little upper lip. So do you know what part of the body that is?
Yes, it's the lip, right?
Yeah. So first it says it's little and pretty, which is kind of interesting, right?
Pretty little. Yeah, if woman's mouth is little, that means beautiful in China.
Okay, I don't know about whether I want to say anything like that. But
Russia.
I'm just saying that in this case, we already know that she's kind of small person in general, and she has a pretty upper lip. She doesn't say
Yes.
anything about the lower lip, but she has a pretty upper lip,
Upper lip.
on
yeah.
which a delicate dark down was just perceptible.
Huh?
Okay, so a delicate dark down. So that's interesting.
It's on her
Yeah,
upper lip.
yeah,
It's a delicate dark down.
yeah. Well, down is kind of like
Down means
okay, like a little baby chicken, like chicks.
yeah.
They call that down. Like they don't have feathers yet. Kind of just like just kind of this little hair, right?
Oh, little hair.
So she has a little bit delicate dark down. So not ve-
汗毛.
yeah, so a little bit on
Little
her
bit
upper lip.
because she's a
Just
woman.
just perceptible.
Perceptible means just
You can
good.
just about to see it. It's not very
Not
it's
very-
not
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 very
very
dark.
obvious, but just about you can see this little bit of dark
Oh,
perceptible, and
okay.
was too short for her teeth. So
Which
then
is too short for her
her
teeth?
lip.
Her lip
So that
is-
means that her teeth shows up a little bit. Okay,
Oh, he always showed other people her teeth.
no, it's not she's showing. It's just her upper lip was too short.
Cannot cover the
Yes.
teeth.
But it lifted all more sweetly. So that means like so it's more sweet. I don't know what that means, but it says
So the it means the
lip.
upper lip
yeah, lifted
lifted
all more
the
sweetly.
more sweetly.
Because it's kind of like uncovering her teeth maybe, and was especially charming when she occasionally drew it down to meet her lower lip. And so when she drew it down, because sometimes yeah, I guess you can try to imagine what it would look like, but she has a small upper lip, number one, and then
Yes.
when she goes up, you probably can see some of her teeth.
And
And this
now
is when
she
you
go
bring it down, it's kind of especially charming. So you can
Especially
imagine
charming.
charming, yeah.
Oh,
So you can try to imagine what that looks like. It's up to you. But anyway, as is always the case with a thoroughly attractive woman, her defect. So this is saying that in many cases for a very attractive woman, right? As always the case, right?
case with this is almost right.
No, thoroughly means like completely attractive.
Completely attractive
So
woman.
she is a
Oh.
very attractive
Attractive
woman.
woman
Okay.
all the time. For
no,
most of the time.
for most of the time, attractive women have something that he's gonna say. So her defect, she has a defect,
Different or different.
not something that's not perfect.
Oh.
The shortness of her upper lip and her half open mouth seem to be her own special and peculiar form of beauty. So we know that this is not perfect. She doesn't have a perfect upper lip. Okay.
So this is shortness, right?
Yeah, the short. It's
Of
just
her upper lip and
half open mouth
half
because she
open.
cannot completely close
Oh.
her mouth.
Seem to be
Her own special and peculiar form of beauty. So even though she's not perfect, she's still very pretty.
It's her special.
And this is her special part about why she's pretty, because it's not perfect.
Okay, so what this mean? Peculiarly.
Peculiar means like it's very peculiar. Only she has a kind of
Just means special.
no, special is one thing. Peculiar means like rare. Not many people have
Oh,
it.
rare 比较
Or
少
just
少见
not just rare, but belonging to her. It only belongs to her.
特殊的
Peculiar means belongs to her. Doesn't belong to anybody else. Peculiar.
Peculiar means just belong to her.
Yeah, peculiar
how
form of
about
beauty.
special?
Special, special. Nothing
Special
special.
means just belong to her.
No, it
right?
doesn't. Special
does
means
mean?
that it's rare kind of thing.
It's rare.
Yeah, special means like it's not around by, it's not common. That's all special means, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Not common, but only belong to her.
Right. Peculiar. Well, peculiar.
Beauty.
No, I guess in this case, peculiar doesn't mean belonging to her. It means kind of it's a type of beauty. Peculiar form means a special type of beauty, or so I'm using the word special again, but a kind of beauty. That's a better way to say, a kind of beauty. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone brightened at the sight of this pretty young woman. So everybody felt happy, right?
Brighten means happy.
No, just like sun, right? So when the sun comes out,
It's
you
brighten the-
think of what does it mean for face? When if I say if the sun is bright, right? And I ask the same thing, what does it mean when a face is bright?
Face is bright.
So think about that.
This everyone's face brightened. right?
I'm just asking you. So what do you think when I tell you if somebody's face is bright? What does that mean?
This open the eyes and look at a woman. The face come
It doesn't have to be woman. I just say bright, right? Bright.
bright 亮嘛.
Right. So what do you think it means when somebody's
It means
face is
it-
bright?
something attracted.
Doesn't have to be, right? It doesn't have I'm just
You
saying
ask
bright.
me why
But you're giving because of this case, they're looking at her.
Yes,
But I'm just saying in general, when somebody's face is bright, what does it mean?
It's just maybe something attract him.
I don't think so.
What do you think?
It doesn't have to be attractive. So somebody's bright face is kind of
Means
like just
what?
like a sunshine kind of thing. It's like, wow, like it's kind of like opened up. Your face opened up. Your
Opened
face.
up your face.
Well, what would that mean? It's the same kind of idea, right?
Yes.
Maybe becomes happy, or maybe becomes kind of shining your face.
Shining.
Yeah. What does it mean? If I say your face is shining, what would you say that means?
Face shining. You.
Well, I don't know. You've probably seen it. People like, oh, this guy just changing his
I
face.
understand, but
Right?
I cannot use the English language to describe.
You don't have to. You just have to think about what that looks like, right? So there's nobody's describing for you. It just says brightened.
Brighten. Yeah.
So you just have to think what you think brightened
Yeah.
means, right?
I'm thinking just the face is not very boring.
Look, think of this way.
Not very sleepy.
How about I
It's
just put it this way?
Brighten.
Just think it this way. The face begin to shine light. Okay, just think it that way. Wow,
But what does shine light mean?
it became bright. It's like a face became like a light bulb. It's like shining light out. Think of that way. Okay, it just become bright. It's not dark. It's become bright.
Okay.
Okay, so just think of, at the sight of this pretty young woman, so soon to become a mother, so full of life and health, and carry her burden so lightly. So carrying her burden so lightly.
The burden means the baby. Huh?
Yes, so lightly means that it's almost like she's doesn't have pregnant.
Full of life and health.
Yeah, you know what that means. Yeah.
It's lot of energy.
Nothing. You know what
Just,
that means. Nothing. It's
young
full of
woman.
life and health, right? Old man and the spirited ones who looked at her after being in her company and talking to her a little while felt as if they too were becoming like her, full of life and health. So basically says old people who are normally
The man,
old man and
dough
dough means like kind of not very sharp. Dough means not sharp.
not sharp.
Just like a knife is dough.
Oh, 钝的.
Yeah. So dough, dispirited means not a lot of spirit.
Not a lot of spirit.
Yeah.
没有什么精神的. Maybe
Yes, not
sleepy
dough.
or I don't
Doesn't
know.
matter. Not a lot of spirit. Young man.
Young
ones. Yes.
You didn't say.
Young ones. Okay. So young man or whatever, man or woman.
Okay.
They become full of life after seeing her. Obviously, that's what it is saying. Okay. All who talked to her and at each word saw her bright smile and constant gleam on her white teeth thought that they were in a specially amiable mood that day. So when they talked to her and they saw her bright smile and constant gleam on her teeth, like gleam, you can think like shining again, gleam on her white teeth, because again, her lips are kind of open a little bit. So you can see her white.
Constant is
Constant means just it doesn't stop.
doesn't stop.
Gleam means like this shining
Gleam shining
of her white teeth.
teeth.
Yeah, they thought that they made
that
them
they-
very amiable, like happy mood that day.
They were in a special, amiable.
Yeah,
what's
just
this?
kind of like friendly,
Mood.
yeah,
Very happy mood.
Yeah, that day, right?
Oh, because after they talk to her or see her and feel, she bring them to a happy mood. She make them feel happy or make them feel
Not making feel especially happy.
special.
So it make them think.
Make them
So
think.
it's more than this. It's not so. They change people's mood for sure.
yeah.
Okay, so that's for sure.
They have the ability to change people's mood.
Yeah. Yes.
She-
but it's
she-
kind of the author doesn't say that, so it's actually very interesting to see how he talks about. He doesn't say they became especially amiable mood, right? Doesn't say that. It actually says anybody who talked to her thought that they were in a especially amiable mood that day. So it's very interesting how he talks about it. Okay, so it says they thought that they were in a especially amiable mood that day. So I want you to after talking to her. So I want you to think about that. Why would somebody say it this way?
You mean why the people thought they were in special?
Yes.
Because
No. The question is not. The question is different. Okay, so I'm asking a very different question. The author could say after anybody talked to her and saw her bright smile, whatever,
Yeah.
they became in a very good mood or amiable mood that day, right?
Oh yeah.
The author could have said that. He doesn't say that. He says something a little bit different. He says that anybody who talked to her right, and see her smile or whatever, thought that they were in a especially amiable mood that day. That's what he says. So it's different than saying they just became happy or whatever. This is not what the author's saying.
Yes.
It's actually saying something different. That's what I'm trying to ask you.
Yeah.
What do you think the author's trying to say here?
I think the author tried to say the people they think themselves maybe because maybe they're not, so the situation maybe is not good, but after the people talk to the woman, make those people thought they are in a good mood.
Okay.
Because the people from different, in the same circle society, but different age, different family, right, background. Maybe some of them just show they are very good, but actually maybe they are very sadness or experience some bad experience. But after they talk to the woman, they thought they already in a animal mood that day, just at that moment, just right after they talk to the woman, just at that moment. Maybe sooner and this mood will disappear. They had this mood just because they just right after talk to the woman. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna say maybe a little bit different. I'm gonna say that they were kind of surprised. In some sense, because maybe they weren't expecting to.
Maybe what? Maybe
these people already know she's a very attractive woman, full of life, etc.
Yes.
Right? But I think by saying this way, by the author saying this way, he's actually saying these people already know that they're gonna be kind of happy, but they thought that they were actually kind of even more happy than they thought possible, kind of thing. So I think that's a way that he's trying to say that this woman really brings out a lot more, right? So
better than more than they thought.
Yes, I think that's what's happening here. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's you have to actually analyze very carefully what the author is trying to say, right? And I think he's saying that people who actually met her, maybe they already know that she's a very attractive, etc.
Yeah.
But after meeting her, they kind of realize, wow, she's really like make me really happy, kind of thing. You're saying she actually make me actually really happy, kind of thing. Which is a much stronger statement than saying, oh, they just became happy, right? It's much stronger.
Yes,
It's like
I
they
agree,
realize that after talking to her, how much happier they are. They realize that.
Yeah, they saw.
So that means that they got surprised in some sense. They sort of surprised. Wow, that's really great that I got to talk to this woman, right? This is almost like that thought.
Yeah, make the woman more attractive. Much more attractive.
That's what I'm saying.
No. After you say it, make me feel the woman is more attractive.
That's correct.
Yeah,
she has that right. Exactly. That's a good point. So by author saying this way, really says that this woman is really, really special.
Really special. Wow.
Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
The little princess went round the table with quick, short, swaying steps. So basically, she went around the table with quick. So quick because she probably can't go. She can't like walk very big steps because she's pregnant. Yeah. So she walks with quick, short steps.
Yeah.
Swaying means like she goes back and forth, right? She doesn't. She
back and forth.
Yeah, okay. Because she has one. She says here her work bag on one arm, and gaily spreading out her dress, sat down on a sofa near the silver samovar. As if all she was doing was a pleasure to herself and to all around her. So it's kind of very okay. Again, I'm gonna stop here because it's very interesting how the author says this. It's actually this whole part is actually very interesting how he describes someone. Okay.
Can you explain a little bit?
Sure. all that happens is
Yeah.
that all this happens is that she's walking around somewhere
Yeah.
and she's gonna sit somewhere. That's all that's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing
Walk
else.
around and sit down.
That's all it
Yeah.
is. But the author obviously doesn't say that. He says a lot more. Okay.
You say,
So I
Her-
want you to sort of analyze. Okay, it doesn't matter. She's carrying something on her arm.
and
Gaily spreading out her dress, so she's like opening, like because you need to go around, so you need to maybe spraying around because she needs to sit down, so you need to like open her dress.
spreading out her dress.
Dress.
What does gaily mean?
Gaily means happily.
Happily open her
dress.
sit down,
So sit
on,
down on
the
the
sofa,
sofa.
near the
So there's another place. Silver, some of it could be another furniture or whatever.
furniture,
Right.
as if it
As she
looks
was
like.
doing, as if she was, as if all she was doing was a pleasure to herself and to all around her. So,
As if all she was doing was a pleasure to herself.
okay, she's not doing much. She's walking
Yeah,
around the
just walking
table.
around and sit down.
She's carrying something in her arm.
Yes.
She's spreading out her dress and sitting down on a sofa. That's all she's doing. But again, the author says she was doing all of these as if
As if.
she was doing it with if all she was doing was a pleasure. She is like as if saying what he's saying is that he's doing all this appears that she was whatever she was doing was very very pleasing to her. She enjoyed doing that, like the simple thing, just walking around, carrying something, sitting down, as if whatever she was doing was actually a pleasure to her.
And to all around her.
Now that's interesting too, but let's not worry about the all around her.
So as if means looks like,
The way that
the way that.
she was doing all this, so that's as if.
Why you think it's special? I think it's very normal, right?
Why do
So
you do that? Let me ask you. When you do something simple, like even sitting down somewhere, do you feel pleasure when you're sitting down? No, you don't. Right? You just there's a chair. I'm just gonna go sit down there, right? Do you like when you go to open a door? Do you go, oh, I like opening the door? Do you do that? No, you don't do that.
Yeah.
This is saying she doing this simple thing.
And
She's
she-
doing like, oh, I'm doing like it was a very pleasure to. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy just going around, open, like sitting down. I enjoy doing this.
Oh, it's
Right?
very happy.
Yeah, to herself and not only pleasure to herself but to all. So that's the other part. Was she trying to please other people? So for sure it's a pleasant to her.
It's all around her. She think he do all those things will pleasure the people around her, or
That's a
the-
good question. So
writer-
we're not very clear here. I'm thinking that she was just doing for herself pleasure.
Yeah.
But it turns out because she was doing everything for her pleasure, other people also feel pleasure too.
But she knows she.
No, I don't think this is saying that, and I don't want to say that for sure, but I'm gonna just guess here that
What are you guessing?
my guessing is that she just does those naturally. She just enjoys it, makes sure that she's pleasurable to her, and the people who see her doing it,
her and-
oh, that's quite nice too, right? So I actually enjoy watching you doing this simple stuff. Basically, imagine like again, the author is very careful about how he says it. He went around the table with quick, short,
shots.
swing steps,
Swing
kind of
steps.
like a little duck, right? Tung 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 tung, and then she's carrying something and
Yes.
gaily, like spreading her thing and sitting down, kind of like all very kind of cute kind of thing, right? But anyway, it's just very interesting. Again, the author describes something with not too many words, and makes you feel special about these simple things. So that's what I like about it, right? Like reading something like this, right? Okay.
Can we continue? Or
Just a
stop
little
here?
bit more. I have brought my work, so she's studying French, displaying her bag and addressing all present. So she's actually talking to everyone as if everybody's listening to her. So you have to that's very interesting when you hear, right? It says, I brought my work, displaying her bag and addressing all present.
Said she in French.
Yeah, that's fine.
She used
She's talking in French here.
display
Displaying her bag and addressing all present. Mind, Annette, I hope you have not played a wicked trick on me, she added, turning to her hostess. You wrote that it was to be quite a small reception, and just see how badly I am dressed. and she spread out her arms to show her short-waisted, lace-trimmed, dainty gray dress, girdled with a broad ribbon just below the breast. So basically, she's saying that she said that, hey, maybe you played a trick on me, right? Because she thought it's going to be a very small gathering.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not a small gathering, number one, right? A lot of people are there, and then she's complaining to Anna, hey, I thought it was small.
To her hostess, Anna,
right.
Yeah. You wrote that it was quite small.
Yeah, you wrote that it was quite small, but look, I didn't dress up. She didn't dress up for it.
She thinks she dressed badly.
Yes, so she spread out her arms to show her short-waisted, lace-trimmed, dainty green. So
Short-waisted means.
So maybe it doesn't reach. Maybe that's a good question. Short-waisted could be many things. It could be that it doesn't reach all the way down her legs. It could mean that way.
You mean the short?
The dress.
The dress.
So maybe show some of her legs or something, right? And then
lace trim.
Yeah, and then also girdled with a broad ribbon just below her breast. So maybe she has some large ribbon.
What the ribbon?
Ribbon is just like a a scarf, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a scarf. It's kind of like soft, kind of as big as a scarf, but you tie a bow on it.
Oh.
Just a bow, but like hanging here or something, right? Hanging just below her breast.
Just below her breast.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Can we just stop here? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, see you.
See you guys.